Hello everyone. I decided to do this video even though a lot of people said I probably should not, just as concerns for safety and such, but I decided to do a video about the COVID-19, the coronavirus. So this is a little bit different than my usual makeup unboxing videos, but this is also one of my passions, is studying various types of medical things, and I always had a very strong interest in epidemics and viruses and things like that. So that's why I decided to do this. So I'm gonna tell you straight off the bat, I might be all over the place with this. I'm gonna try to keep it very focused, which is very hard for me to do. But I'm going to try to keep it focused. This might not be the only video I do. There probably will be more. If you guys seem to like it, or, if people want to have a conversation about this, we could do another video addressing any answers to questions that I might know. And you guys can tell me if you know things that I don't know. And on this video, we're not really going to touch on the conspiracy theories. There's a ton out there, and maybe we could touch on them later. But right now, straight off the bat, I want to keep this pretty precise, just discussing what's going on in the world and locally. Because now, as of last night, we have 3 cases in my state of coronavirus. So I guess I'll start with that. The cases in Maryland, which is where I live, of coronavirus. I'm not too far from where the people were diagnosed, but it was 3 people. I found out more information, which is very hard to find, because Maryland laws state that they actually will not release where these people live at. They won't release where these people live at, or what town they're in, or even they weren't even going to release what county, because they thought it might identify those people. So they said it was a violation of the HIPAA law, which those of you in the healthcare field, medical field, you guys are familiar with the HIPAA law, which is just a law saying that we won't tell anyone your business, basically. We won't let anyone know what's going on in your life if someone calls us, even your workplace. Oh, is so-and-so on a medication? Or have they been seen? Have they came to you for a doctor's visit for such and such? The only time they're allowed to say any HIPAA things if it's drug related, or if it is a work injury. That's it. So back to the subject. So anyway, people basically freaked out in my state. They went nuts. They started going crazy and just apparently calling the governor's phone off the hook, sending emails, and other people who are in the political party in Maryland also responded to him saying, we need to release where these people were found, because we can't have people just refusing to go outside now. And that's what was starting to happen. I've seen it on the Nextdoor app. I don't have Facebook. I don't deal with that. But I have seen people starting to say that on the Nextdoor app last night. So they did release it. The 3 people were found in Montgomery County. So it is a husband and wife, and then another person. From what I gathered, they didn't say the age official release, but I found a little bit more information from a source. And they were, and I don't see why I couldn't say this, because I'm sure eventually they're going to say it. So whatever, if I get in trouble, I don't care. Anyway, so it was 2 50-year-olds, a husband and a wife. They were 50-something, and then a 70-year-old. Supposedly they traveled together. I have not been able to find out where they traveled from. So this is not a community spread as of yet in Maryland. As of yet, as far as we know. So, this is not community spread in Maryland, but they traveled together. I don't know where they came from. I know the one that got infected in New York City came from Iran. And then there's been a slight community spread in New York, from my understanding. In New York State, upstate New York, they have around 600 people in self-quarantine waiting to see if they actually get the virus. And then in New York City, I heard right now it's around 400 in self-quarantine. Same thing, waiting to see if they have the virus. So that leads me on to the next thing. I told you I'll be around everywhere. I probably should have wrote notes, like Dr. John does, because he's very good at that. But yeah, that's just not me. So I just wanted to film this video before I go into my job. And anyway, so back on the subject. So the New York, we're going to talk for a minute on how this is being handled. Why I don't necessarily agree nor disagree with this. So the patient in New York City, the first patient, she was a lady who just came back from Iran. And they decided to put her on self-home quarantine. Again, so here's my issue with the self-home quarantine. How do we know that she's really staying at home? We don't know that. We don't know if she's going to check her mail. She lives in Manhattan, New York. So you know that it's an apartment. It's not a house. It's an apartment. We don't know what floor she's in. You know she's going to go downstairs to check her mailbox. You know she might be getting things delivered to her. It's going to be down there. So what is stopping the germs, the bacteria from spreading in the apartment? My other question is, which I've not been able to find out any information on this, if they actually told the people in the apartment complex she lives in that, hey, we have a person living here right now that has COVID-19 or coronavirus or the new novel coronavirus, whatever you want to call it. So I am totally against that. I know the whole HIPAA thing is a very big issue in America, but also protecting people. People need to be able to know and be informed and protect themselves. And when they're not able to protect themselves, all hell can break loose. So from my understanding, these people who live in this apartment with her, they don't know. They don't know that she has it. So again, how do we know that she's actually following the guidelines? What happens if she gets bored and she's like, you know what? I want to order some takeout. She orders takeout. This person comes, brings her the food, and gets infected. So I'm not saying, because I know a lot of people will go crazy, especially in America, if there was forced quarantines. So if they actually took this woman to a location, don't know where. I don't think they should actually be kept in the hospital if they are not having pneumonia or breathing issues or anything that requires emergency medical attention, anything that requires you to be on a ventilator, a IV, anything like that. They should have a special, in my opinion. Please don't go crazy on me, America. But there should be a place where they could put these people so they're safe and not infectious to someone else. So, maybe turn shipping containers into little labs and little offices or whatever. I don't know, whatever little rooms that you want to call them. And I understand this is a major inconvenience to people. And I understand how my fellow Americans feel about this type of thing. So let's take a moment to touch on China. Okay, so we're going to talk about China. I've seen videos out there that crazy things were happening in China. China was just doing some really wrong things to people as far as rounding up sick people and putting them in quarantine, or people that they did not know were infected, just by neighbors saying, hey, Mr. Yang is possibly infected. They send these people, they come and collect them, they forcefully are taking people. I'm totally against that. But at the point, I also don't know what better choice did China have. It's widespread in China, and Wuhan is horrible. So many cases, so many people. But there was videos out there of these really bad things happening. I don't really want to say, but you can find them on YouTube. And I'll actually link you with a friend's YouTube account who shares a lot of this information. He has these videos. He has people on the inside of China. So I will link that in the description box. But I think, in a sense, China had kind of the right idea. Asking people to stay at home, shutting down things. Now, I don't believe with the actual, pulling people from their house. You can't do that. But in America, we do have medical martial law. Just read up on your martial law. So we do have medical martial law that things like this can happen in America also. I just thought I'd put that out there. I don't agree with it. But I think China was trying its best to prevent it, set aside from all the other things that was going on. I don't agree with anything else. Them lying about the numbers. They're lying about the deaths. People would die in their house because they couldn't get treatment. So, also at the same point in time, they were overran. There was not enough doctors. There was not enough nurses. It's something that just you can't control. And to anyone who thinks in America that the same as China would not happen, in America and wouldn't be handled the same way is ridiculous, because you have to try to protect the people the best you can. And I'm not saying it's right, but as of this point, they're telling people, if you think you have the coronavirus, call your doctor. And then they'll walk you through what you should do. If you think you have the coronavirus, stay at home. Stay at home. No, my fellow Americans won't do that. We're too bent on our freedom. So I can imagine right now if they say, oh, we think, Mr. Johnson, we were pretty sure that you have coronavirus. We're waiting for the test. We want you to self-isolate at home. Or even there is strict guidelines out there right now as to how they can test for patients. I did hear that Vice President Pence is supposed to be lifting those requirements. So let's talk about the requirements for a moment of what you have to have required in order to get your test. So first thing is, at this moment, and again, they might have changed it as of this morning, but what they were doing is if you have been to Wuhan or been in contact with an infected person, those were the first guidelines to getting these tests. We have a limited number of tests in America. Again, I'm not going to say bad things about America, but you guys get my drift here, okay? So they want to, it's very strict guidelines. But at this point, with us not closing down borders to a lot of these countries until recently, we're going to have community spread. As of right now, we supposedly do not have community spread, except in California and in Seattle, Washington. But it's only a matter of time. We got a place like New York City. We have 4 infected people in New York City, which they are not saying if the other 3 came from community spread or if the other 3 came from out of the country. As of right now, there's no word on that. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. Again, this is one of those things that just doesn't make sense to me. What can we do? What do you guys think we should do in America to stop this? Now, let's move on to the next thing. So we have fellow healthcare workers and who think this is just another flu. It's not just another flu. It is not. And they say, oh, flu's more deadly. Flu has killed 12,000 people this year so far in America. And a large number of children, actually. Sadly, it's been a large number of children that have been killed by the A strain, which this year, 62% prevalence is the H1N1. You might remember H1N1 from back in 2009, 2010. The swine flu that originated in Mexico and has killed hundreds of thousands of people with a death rate of 0.5%. But that's a whole nother thing. Again, it comes back every year as just a regular flu virus. That is a flu virus. This is a coronavirus. Now, to those of you who are conspiracy theorists, I totally understand, and so am I. When you look at your can of Lysol and it says coronavirus on there, don't say, oh, the government knew. No, I'm going to explain to you. Coronavirus is actually a group of viruses. So they've been around. There's tons of them. There's been MERS, which was also a very deadly one, death rate of 34%, which was a type of coronavirus. And SARS was a type of coronavirus. So you have your rhinovirus, you have your coronavirus, you have your influenza flu, which is a virus. So there's several ones out there. I'm not going to go through the list of like all of them, but this is why they called it new novel coronavirus, because it's new. We don't know anything about it. We're still learning. Now the technical term is COVID-19. So I just wanted to get that out there because I've had people say that to me numerous times and just now. And the flu shot does not kill this virus. That's another thing we just wanted to cover. So back to the subjects. So I know I'm leaving a lot of things out that I wanted to touch on because I didn't think I'd be 15 minutes in already with, I don't know if this is informative or if this just comes out as a rant from a healthcare worker who is just getting upset, but it's worse than the flu. It is. It's highly contagious. There's 2 strains out. There's the S and the L. They believe it evolved back in China. Now, don't get me 100% wrong. I want to say the S version is the more deadlier, and the L version was the original, but I could have that vice versa. We don't know right now what in America or Italy or Iran we're dealing with, if it's the S or the L, the more deadly. If, these countries are even telling the correct amount of infected people. We have no clue. We don't know the truth. Just the same as other countries would lie or just not test people to make it look like our numbers are low. So that's another thing to just keep your thought in your mind out. So I just wanted to touch on that. So a lot of healthcare workers are saying, the flu kills 12,000 people, and 1 year the flu was so bad it killed 60,000. Yes, but look at the infection rates. In America alone, we get millions of people every year that have the flu. So if you were to take, let's just go for easy number, 1 million, which most flu is way more than that every year. But we're just going to go with the easy number. 1 million people infected with the flu. The flu, generally, most years, has a 0.5% death rate. That's minimum. Sometimes it has a little more. Sometimes it has a little less. But for general, we're just going to go with the basic for the last 10 years. So that's what I'm going with. Now, the coronavirus. The World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, just announced this morning that the death rate is up from 2% to 3.4%. You have 1 million people that are infected. You have a 3.4% death rate. It's going to kill way more than 12,000 people. So this is why it is not just a flu. It is not just a flu. Please stop saying it's just a flu. I understand that it might die down and become minimum and just join the rest of the coronaviruses that are out there. Hell, one time I caught a cold from my cat. It was a coronavirus type that can be transmitted, but it's a very small one because certain animals can transmit coronaviruses to people and vice versa. It's rare. It doesn't happen quite often. It's not the deadly ones though. But there's tons of them out there. So that was just another thing I want to get out. Again, I'm not going to go into the whole conspiracy theories, and I'm not going to talk much about that now. But believe me, I'm sure there probably will be a video on it because I've read a ton of them. Some of them, it makes you think. I guess we can maybe touch on the release of what I've heard from different doctors. As far as the release of how this started out, I think now a lot of things I'm safe to say that I was told way back when about this that I couldn't say, but I think now the truth is pretty much getting out there. So I'm not afraid to say it, but I'm just going to keep things to a minimum. I'm not going to touch on certain things that, I don't have 100% proof about. I just want to be close to it. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. So anyway, I believe that's it for now that I can think of. But, let's touch on one thing. Please, wash your hands. Wash your hands. Try not touching doorknobs. Try to use the sleeve to pull open doors, to push open doors. Let's not try to touch things. Keep your little, somewhere I have a bottle of hand sanitizer. Oh, yes, in my pocket. Keep your little antibacterial. This is Sweet Pea, Bath and Body Works. Keep your antibacterial hand sanitizer with you. Use it if and only if you cannot get to a sink. Hand washing for 20 seconds is the best possibility to keep this virus down. We're not going to touch into the huge part of the transmissions right now, the theories behind the transmissions. Right now, they're saying it's just from cough droplets, sneezing droplets, and it does stay on surfaces. It will stay on surfaces for up to 9 days, is supposedly what they're saying right now. So up to 9 days. So please, wash your hands. Anytime you're out there, just wash your hands. Try not to touch your face. I know it's hard for a lot of people. I constantly touch my face and my hair. But let's try not to. Also, remember to dab. Destroy all bacteria. So every time you cough and you sneeze, dab. I actually can't dab, so, but you know, dab. That's what I'm calling it now. We're calling it dabbing. So destroy all bacteria so you don't infect other people. If you are sick, please don't be one of those crazy people like in Korea that are going around purposely infecting people. We'll touch on that in another video. But please, 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 please cover your mouth when you sneeze by dabbing, destroying all bacteria. Even though this is technically a virus, this same rule applies. Please wash your hands, cover your mouth. If you think you are sick, wear a mask. Who cares what people think if you look crazy or whatever? I'm happy if you are sick and you wear a mask. I had one patient of mine who was sick with the flu 2 weeks ago, and he came to me wearing a mask. And you know that made me very happy because he doesn't want to infect people. That is a good person. He does not want to infect other people around him. So please cover your mouth. Please, just please. I can't emphasize on this enough. Sanitize things, wash things, and maybe stock up on some groceries. Excuse me, I need to take a sip of my coffee because I basically turned what's supposed to be informative into a rant. I hope you guys can actually gather information from this. Okay. So let's just briefly touch before I finish up this video. Let's talk about stocking up on some groceries. I'm not saying go to the grocery store and buy 100 things of toilet paper, because if things get really out of hand in America, which I highly doubt will not happen, but just in case, I do believe we're going to get cases in the thousands. I wouldn't even be surprised if it got to 100,000 or more. But I don't think we're going to have total infrastructure collapse. But if we do, it's good to be prepared. It's good to be prepared. That's what I do. I look into that stuff a lot, and I try my best not to go overboard. But I do tend to go overboard with that sometimes. But, you know, everybody has their own thing they're prepping for. I always thought it would be an economic collapse before it was a pandemic. And I guess working in healthcare kind of desensitizes you to thinking about pandemics, to be honest, because you're around so many strange bacterias and viruses and, you know, all that stuff all the time. So I'm guessing that's why I was desensitized. But anyway, if you can, you know, go to the grocery store, get canned goods, things that you would actually eat though. Just don't buy like 100 pounds of beans knowing you don't like beans. Try to buy things that you would like. There's plenty of places you can go and shop for cheap. You can go to Aldi's if you have one where you live at. They're very cheap. Stock up on canned goods, soups, and things like that that you like. You can go to Walmart. Oh, and if you go to Walmart, you can limit yourself from being around sick people by doing their what is it called? Walmart grocery pickup or pickup? Yeah, grocery pickup. Where you go and you just do your order online, and then you select a time slot, and then you go and pick it up. That's what I've been doing for the past 3 weeks. I've not set foot in a grocery store. We've been picking up everything. So you can go pick it up. They help you load it into your car if you want to. And then you have your stuff. And you didn't have to go and be around anybody but one person. So there's that. And that's just good for anyone. I mean, I'm not sponsored by Walmart, believe me. This is not a video that's sponsored by anyone. I don't even know if I'm going to get more than like 2 watches on this video. But I decided to do it anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and just, you know, get your water, get your stuff that you like, get things that you like. If you have a deep freezer, try to stock that up. If not, but at least try to make sure you have 3 months of things on hand. If you like ramen, then for God's sake, go buy $20 worth of ramen and you're good. You're good. Water though. As of right now, I don't think it would ever get so bad that our water system would collapse. But again, we don't know. And this is what prepping is for. You don't know. So it's kind of like prepping is like food insurance and medication insurance. And, you know, it's insurance. You have health insurance, you have car insurance, you have mortgage insurance, you have house insurance. So why not food insurance? Let's just say that. And also, let's not forget to stock up on any medications that you can. Any medications, whether it be over-the-counter medications that you take or your vitamins, you know, let's definitely take your vitamins. Take your vitamins. So, oh my God, this video went into 25 minutes. Oh my gosh. Wow. I didn't think I could talk for that long straight. Oh my God. So anyway, vitamins. If you cannot afford to go and stock up on over-the-counter things or simple things that you just might need, you don't want to go out shopping as much as possible when this happens. So even if we never get pandemic, or we never get severely bad, you just want to limit your time outside. So if you want to go outside in nature and stay away from people. That's what I do. So just make sure, Dollar Tree is your friend. Dollar Tree is your friend. You can buy so many things. If you don't want to spend money on things that you think you won't use, but you could use in a pandemic, Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree. You can get so many things at the Dollar Tree for $1, including medications. I'm not saying they're the best quality out there, but they will do the job in the event that you actually need them and you have them there. So that's just a suggestion. So I guess that's it for this video. Guys, if you like this video, again, I told you on my channel, you're going to find a lot of randomness. And this is one of those cases. I have lipstick on my teeth. But this is one of those cases that you're going to find a lot of random things on here. And I've been wanting to do this video for a couple of weeks, but I've been scared to because I didn't want people to judge me, whatever. And I'm just like, whatever. I need to get my word out there, and I just need to tell people to protect themselves and how they can. So if you do like this video, make sure you like and subscribe. All right, I'll be uploading this now. Stay safe, and don't forget to destroy all bacteria. Thank you, guys.